Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
It's another first for Donald Trump, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Also, there is a new war already being waged, and I bet you don't even know about it. We're going to talk about it. And the biggest war online right now is between Jamie Lee Curtis and Mariska Hargitay.
Now it's
Showtime is here, and I'm a queer. Carell is so queer because Showtime is here, so... Oh, it is the Carell Show. I am Carell. Happy Tuesday, June 16th. So very glad you are joining me on this whirlwind cavalcade. Well, another first for Donald Trump. Not the cage match, not the guy calling Michelle Obama a man. She should sue him, by the way. None of that. No. In a first for Donald Trump and the United States, we have surrendered. Now, I've been watching the Lincoln documentary on Netflix, and it really shows the problems that Lincoln had with the Civil War, and how there were many times that we almost lost it. And a few times we could have won it if his generals would have behaved like he wanted to, particularly this one named Warren, who could have put an end to Lee and didn't, and subsequently got fired right after the midterms. But that being said, ancient history repeats itself. It does. We did not surrender. We did, Appomattox was a horrible massacre. We did not surrender. In fact, we won. The Union won at Appomattox. And by the way, as I'm watching this documentary, all I can do is go back to my show that tells you that the United States ended in 1861. When they show the map of the Confederacy, and it's red. The Confederacy was red. The color of the Confederacy was red. And the North was blue. That's where that came from, by the way, from the Confederacy. And when you see the colors over the states that were the Confederate states, it's the exact same states right now that give us all the crap, that pull us back, that remain ignorant, that are filled with inbred backwoods hicks, whether they're in the city or whether they're out in the backwoods. And it is the birthplace of MAGA. And it started in 1861, and it looks just like it did now. When you look at a map of Confederate states, they're all red. And what do you see? A red Florida, a red Alabama, a red Georgia, a red Louisiana, a red Texas, a red Kentucky, a red Tennessee. You see the exact same red states that you see now. Except on the maps in this show, they were red because they were the Confederacy. On the maps nowadays, they're red because they're MAGA. And you want to tell me that MAGA isn't the same? Honey, it's the same. It's the exact same. And so we never surrendered the Union, the North. And there were several times that things looked bleak. During the American Revolution, George Washington, freezing, cold, alone, starving on the Potomac, never surrendered. And yet today, the United States surrendered to Iran, because that is what happened. That is what's in this deal. The United States has surrendered to Iran. We have given them almost everything they want. They still have the Ayatollah Khomeini, just a different one. And he hates us. We killed his wife, his child, and took his leg and his father. Now, maybe he didn't like his father, but he liked his leg, and assuming he liked his wife and kid. So now we have a further to the right, pissed off dictator in Iran who is not going to treat his people any better. There is no nuclear solution on the table. There is talking about a nuclear solution in 60 days. In order to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, we have to release the money that we froze that belongs to Iran $30 billion. They lost 10,000 people, according to some estimates. Between 5 and 10,000 people died in Iran. And America has lost over 100 people in this war. And for what? For the United States to surrender. Because that's what this deal is. The deal that nobody's read, the deal that allegedly has been signed. This man makes an enormous production out of signing, a check. I mean, this guy, whenever he signs anything, he makes it an enormous production. But this deal? No, just signed it and sent it on. Why? Because
if you're not visiting reallycorrell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
And by the way, what some are calling a deal, I just call a payoff, because that's what it is. It's a payoff. We are paying Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz. That's what's happening. Let's stop sugarcoating all this bullshit, okay? This is a sad day in America. He started a war with a pissant little country in the Middle East, and it beat our ass. And every account says that Iran is now in a much larger geopolitical position than it used to be because it beat the United States. Read it in the BBC. Read it in The Guardian, in the Irish Times, in the Hindu Times. Read it all over the world except in the Donald Trump-controlled media of the United States. CBS, they're reporting what a great victory this is. It is not a victory. He started a war, and now he has surrendered. And we foot the bill. This is going to cost us billions all told. Not him, us, you and I. And we ain't got the money. We broke. We deficit financing, honey. Everything in this country right now is happening on a credit card at high % interest. So, you know what? We broke, and he broke us. And now we have surrendered to Iran. To Iran. Of all countries, maybe losing to Russia or China or something, but to lose to Iran because they control an itty-bitty piece of ocean called the Strait of Hormuz? If the world depends on that strait so much, then the world needs to do business another way. That's like relying on only one drug dealer. That's just ridiculous. Any drug addict will tell you got your main dealer, and then you got your backup dealer, and then you got your backup dealer, and then you got the worst. Like with pot, when we lived in California, before it was legal. I had my pot dealer, and she was fabulous. If I couldn't get a hold of her, I had a few other friends that I could call and probably get some until I could get a hold of her. If all else failed, we could drive through the alley in Anaheim. Everybody knew of it. It was behind Disneyland in an apartment complex and it was called the Alley. And everybody knew about the Alley. Or you could go to Venice Beach and just score off the street, but you never knew what you were going to get. One time, Ken and I got pine needles. So and that's the exact same thing. If oil is our drug of choice, then having it rely on that one little stretch of waterway, that's just dumb. That's stupid. So we're paying off the Iranians. We are surrendering. And hopefully this will be over. We'll be billions more dollars in debt. He's going to hail it as a victory. We all know that it's not. And there you have it. That's what's happening in the world news today. He's over meeting at the G5 or G7 or whatever it is, and I'm just embarrassed to have him there. And every leader there knows that the United States is surrendering to Iran. They read their own press. No one's seen the actual draft of this deal. And I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's going to go through. I think between now and Friday, it's going to blow up. You wait and see. Why? Israel. Israel has become the scum of the earth. And I'll say it out loud. The country of Israel, not the people, the country, the leadership, Netanyahu. Just like Trump has destroyed America, Netanyahu has destroyed Israel. He won't get out of Lebanon. He won't adhere to the peace agreement. He committed genocide in the West Bank and Gaza, which he still hasn't been held accounted for. He is a war criminal, Netanyahu, who has committed genocide, and he has destroyed the respect the world once had for Israel. I have no respect for Israel. None. None. I don't even care if it remains a country, and I mean that. I really don't. After what Netanyahu has done, committed genocide, killed hundreds of thousands of people, and continues to kill innocent civilians today, also he can wipe out Hamas, which he will never, ever do, because Hamas is an ideology and you can't wipe that out, just like we couldn't wipe out Al-Qaeda. You can't wipe out an ideology just by killing a bunch of people. We could kill every maggot in this country and MAGA would still endure, because you can't wipe out an ideology. They tried to kill every Nazi in Germany. Nazism still exists. There are still Nazis. So, you can't, he'll never get rid of Hamas. So that's what's happening. And it's fucked up. And I don't like it. You don't like it. It ruins our day to think about it. That's just the way it is. But today, the United States has surrendered. Our only hope is that Donald Trump's medical conditions take over and he has to leave office. And then J.D. Vance takes over right around the midterms and we get a Democratic House and Senate and they impeach J.D. Vance and put the Democratic Speaker of the House in as president. That's our only hope. Otherwise, for the next 3 years, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, even with a Democratic House and Senate. They'll find ways. They're evil people. Every day now. So that's why you know what? This morning, Mobile, Alabama, they're going to take down their pride flags because one preacher complained. Fuck that preacher. Who the hell cares what some guy that believes in a fictitious God has to say or complain about? But now they just cave when it comes to gay issues. No one stands up for us. No city or state says, fuck you, we're leaving up our flags. You don't like it, move. No one does that. They all just cave, just like Trump. He caved. He surrendered. Oh, he won't call it that. He'll say that he's the victor. He's not. Now he says he's going to work on Ukraine and do what he can. Well, that's nothing. You've been in for a year. You've talked to Putin over and over and over again. You can't do anything because you're an impotent 80-year-old demented idiot that nobody respects. So there we have it. That's life as we have it, And so inflation is, soaring, and they think this is going to help the Iran deal. It's not going to help, It's not going to help. Oh, prices will come down a little. They're going to try to make prices come down before the midterm so people aren't so upset. But, please. But have you heard the news? Elon Musk is now a trillionaire and your 401k could be in trouble because of it. Yep. I told you this whole SpaceX thing was bad. But now, I asked ChatGPT this morning, I said, why are 401ks in danger because of the SpaceX? What happened? Why are they in danger? And I got an answer from ChatGPT, and it wasn't a good one. But basically it has to do with the way that your 401k, how it has to invest in certain things, and I don't. Here, I'll have to read you the answer because if I knew about all this bullshit, I'd own stock. I don't have a 401k. 44% of Americans don't have a 401k. But if you do have a 401k, let's see. Some analysts are worried that millions of retirement investors could be exposed to SpaceX much sooner than normal because major stock indexes changed their rules ahead of the IPO. they changed their rules for SpaceX. Most 401ks own index funds. Many retirement plans are invested in funds that track indexes such as the NASDAQ 100, Russell indexes, or the S&P 500. When an index adds a stock, the funds tracking that index must buy it. Okay? So at roughly 1.75 trillion valuation, SpaceX debuted as the world's largest company. NASDAQ shortened its waiting period to 15 days for inclusion. The FTSE Russell allows entry as few as 5 trading days. Critics argue those changes were made partly because SpaceX is so large and in such demand. The concern is SpaceX is not yet profitable and has warned investors that profitability may never occur. People rush to buy stock into a company that may never, ever be profitable. Some experts worry that index funds could be forced to buy shares during a period of intense hype and uncertain valuation in a company that may never become profitable. So your 401k could actually be at risk because of SpaceX. Because 401ks have to buy into index funds, and the stock exchanges changed their rules for SpaceX, so it will be an index fund within 15 days. Ain't that great? Hey, but Elon Musk is a trillionaire. You might lose a bunch of money in your 401k, but Elon Musk is a trillionaire. So there you have it. All right. Is that enough horror for the day? Have you had enough? Because I've had enough. You know, I've had enough. Have you had enough? Because there's a much bigger controversy going on that I very, very much want to talk about. There really is. And it's one that I got directly involved in online because it all started, okay? It all started because I absolutely love and adore Jamie Lee Curtis and Mariska Hargitay, okay? I adore them. And so it all started because I adore them. And you're like, well, what giant controversy could there be about Mariska Hargitay? And sorry, just getting some things on the desktop here. So there is a big controversy going on, and it's one that I am uniquely qualified to speak about. So let me play you this piece of video here that explains the controversy. This was said by Jamie Lee Curtis to Mariska Hargitay. Okay, and then we'll talk water in the next half hour, but listen to this.
You explained to me that you were making a doc. You explained to me that you had come back to Los Angeles, that you had gone through the beginning of the storage unit.
I'm trying not to laugh because you just said Los Angeles.
Okay, we had this argument. And
she says Los Angeles.
Okay, but what do you call it? Los Feliz.
Yes, but we're not talking about
You
Los
don't say
Feliz.
Las Feliz.
You don't say Los
Feliz.
Angeles unless
You say Los Angeles.
You don't. And if I had like a jury here, everyone would vote for me. Go ahead.
Okay, who
this
says
is so
Los
annoying.
Feliz?
But from now on, I'm going to say.
Okay, you probably live there. Do you live there in Los Feliz?
Do you say Los Angeles?
So you say Los Angeles.
Nobody says that.
Okay, well, anyway.
You guys, please, God, let's move on. Please, God,
We're going to move on, but
I apologize.
I was
only
your hand up to
dealing
me.
with the fact that when you said it, I go like this. You're saying deep.
I am about
and I'm
to
like
say
this.
something deep. I know. It's okay. You can laugh. You explained.
All right, there we have it. So I posted underneath that Jamie Lee Curtis is right. It's Los Angeles. That's how you say it. Los Angeles. That's how you say the city's name. Now, a little bit of background, okay? Or if you must say Angeles, you can say Los Angeles. Now, a little bit of background. In 1952, the mayor Ed Daly of Los Angeles, the mayor, I live in Las Vegas, so I have Los on the mind. The mayor of Los Angeles got a group of linguists together, all of them white, because there was such controversy about how to say the city's name. And they all decided it was L-O-S-S, Los. but there's still an A sound in there. And that's wrong. Now, most of California is named with Hispanic names. Okay? And I realize that Americans don't like to adhere to or pay tribute to or be confined by what another language sounds like. But the fact is, the name of the city is Los, L-long-O-S, Angeles. And if you must say Angeles, if you're just so stupid you can't say Angeles, then okay, it's still Los, L-O-S. I don't care what a panel in 1952 said. They were wrong. I don't care what most of Americans say. They're wrong. The pronunciation, just like when you live there, you say Los Feliz, which is still wrong. It should be Los Feliz. But whatever. But they say it. And it used to drive me crazy in Long Beach. There is a street there, Junipero. How would you all pronounce that? Junipero. Junipero. How would you pronounce it? I'll tell you one thing. It's not Juanapero. That means Juan and his dog. How would you pronounce it? I'll tell you.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
All right, we are back in Las Vegas. Las, because Vegas, A-S, Las. There are rules in Espanol. The male pejorative is los, okay? L-O-S means the for a masculine word, okay? L-O-S, los. Los. So Jamie Lee Curtis is right. It's Los Angeles. And if you must say Angeles, then say it. But it's still Los Angeles. It is just like Los Feliz. And it's not San Rafael, is it? I believe it's San Rafael. Isn't there an A-E in there? Or is it R-A-F-E-L? You know? I mean, this is how these things are pronounced. And so this argument, and before the break I said Junipero. In Long Beach, everybody says Junipero. I'm sorry, everyone says Juanapero. Everybody. And I'll always look at them and say, what street is that? You know, Juanapero. No. Juanapero would be Juanyperro, and it would mean Juan and his dog. Junipero, Junipero, is the name of Junipero Serra, who established all of the missions in California and is the namesake of the street. The same with Ximeno. Everybody in Long Beach says Ximeno, Ximeno, except Ximeno is not pronounced Ximeno. First of all, there's no X sound in Espanol. Second of all, the I is not pronounced I and the E is not pronounced E. It's Ximeno. Ximeno is Ximeno. It is not Ximeno. It's Los Angeles. It's Junipero. It's Ximeno. And I'm sure there are places where you live that everybody mispronounces and they think they're just pronouncing it right. They're not. Americans show their ignorance all the time by getting stuff wrong and acting like it's right. Oh, I live in Los Angeles. No, you don't. Ain't no city named Los Angeles, L-A-S Angeles. There is no city named L-A-S Angeles. Angels is a male, Angeles, angels is a male pejorative word in Espanol. Or it'd be angelas. That'd be a female angel. Angelas, female angel. Angeles, male angel. Los Angeles, the angels. El Ciudad de Los Angeles, if you're American. Or if you're Espanol, El Ciudad, or you can say La Ciudad if you want, but it's El Ciudad de Los Angeles. That's how it is. So Jamie Lee is right, and Mariska Hargitay is wrong. And the over 200 commenters that have commented on my post, where I phonetically sounded it out underneath, that say, no, it's not. It's LOSS. No, it's not. Just because some white group of people in the 50s said it was, it's not. That's what I hate about America. We accept wrong things as right. And that just extends out to every part of our lives. We accept wrong things as right. And it starts with speech. You know? It starts with speech. Good Lord. All right. Los Angeles. How do you pronounce it? Wrong, probably. A lot of you are in the Bay Area. It's not, is it San, how do they spell San Rafael? Because I always thought it was San Rafael, but maybe there's no E. Is it San Rafael? San R-A-F-E-L. Nope, it's A-E-L. Right. So it's not San Rafael. It's San Rafael. That's what it is. San Rafael. That's the name of the city. It is not San Rafael. It's San Rafael. That's what it is. First of all, A in Espanol is not A. It's E. It's San Rafael. That's what it is. Oh, Lord. So California has a whole bunch of cities that just everybody mispronounces. And they're all, well, we're not in Mexico. It was part of Mexico, you rube. These people are like, well, it's America. It's not part of Mexico. It was part of Mexico. It was literally named after Mexicans. God, have a little respect for culture, can't we? I mean, just a little. Can we at least have a little tiny bit of respect for culture? Just a itty bitty. You know? It is San Rafael. That's what it is. I've heard so many people on KGO call, hi, I'm calling from San Rafael. No, you're not. That'd be like SANRAFELL. San Rafael. But that's not what the city is named. And San, I believe, means saint. I think it means saint. I think. I have to look it up. So it would be Saint Raphael. That's what the city would be named after. So San, I believe, means saint. I have to look it up. ¿Cómo se dice en español saint? Anybody? Anybody out there? Anyone is fluent? Is S-A-N in Spanish saint? Or is that Santa? San is the male version of saint. I was right. Santa is a female saint and San is a male saint. So San Rafael is the male saint Raphael. That's what it is. His name is not Raphael. Don't go renaming your saints. Okay? So it's San Rafael. Good Lord in heaven. All right. Santa is a female saint. San is a male saint. Santo could be, but I doubt it. Santo means something else. I think it means sacred. So yeah, San means saint in Spanish. It's the short masculine version of the word santo. So Santo, male saint, they shorten it to San. Santa, female saint. By that thinking, Santa Claus is a female, is a woman. But Santa Claus is not in Espanol. So then. Yeah, Santa Claus should be a female. Santa Claus. But again, we get everything wrong. Los Angeles. San Rafael. Santa Maria. Send me guidance. Every day I pray, Santa Maria, send me guidance. Send me guidance, pretty please.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carellcast on your favorite streaming service.
He was.
You're listening to the Carellcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
And this is what's wrong with our country. It really is. We and the world. Because, I really believe Jack Nicholson was right, whoever wrote that scene. We can't handle the truth. We can't. Christians cannot handle that Jesus Christ, well, first of all, didn't exist. They can't handle that. But if he did exist, he would not have looked like Brad Pitt or even my boy Sam Ryder, who's doing him in Jesus Christ Superstar over in the UK, who everyone says, oh, he looks so much like Jesus. No, he looks like the Zigzag Man. He doesn't look like Jesus. Jesus would look like a long-haired Palestinian. That's what Jesus would look like because that's who he was. He was a Jew from the Palestinian region. And he would have dark complexion. He would look like the guy at the convenience mart. That's what Christ would look like. He would look like the gentleman perhaps at the kosher deli, like a Hasidic Jew. He would look like an Arab because he was an Arab. Okay? He would not look like Brad Pitt. That is not what Christ would look like if he existed. He did not. But if he did exist, he would not look like Brad Pitt with long hair. He would look like Rami Malek or, pick an Asian. Kamal, what's his name? He just got buff, Manjani. That's who he'd look like. Hassan Piker. He'd look like Hassan Piker, who's very handsome. But he would not look like Brad Pitt. So we get that wrong. The basic fundamental of their faith, okay, the image of Jesus in their head, and it's wrong. That's not what he would look like, okay? He'd look more black. He would be closely more related to blacks than he would be to whites. So that is not what he would look like. It's Los, not Las. It's San Rafael, not San Rafael. Christ does not look like Brad Pitt. We could probably do a whole show of stuff society gets wrong. And that's the problem. If you repeat something wrong long enough, it becomes right. And that's the problem. You repeat a lie or a half-truth or something that's just wrong. And you repeat it long enough and it becomes accepted as fact, even though it's not. And that's the danger of social media, because it repeats wrong things all day long very quickly. And suddenly those wrong things become fact. I am in full compliance and agreement with them banning social media for kids in the UK and Australia. I wish we'd do it here. So there's a lot of things. I'd love for your comments down below. What city or streets do people in your area mispronounce? Or what facts do we just get wrong? Like the Jesus myth. He would not look like Brad Pitt. We mispronounce things. We mislabel things. We misgender things. If there were a God, it'd be a woman. Only a woman can create, and only a man would think that a God would be a man. Only a woman could create people. Oh, would they need a man? A God wouldn't. By the way, if there were a God, it would be a hermaphrodite. It would be both sexes. Because it created people without having sex. Therefore, it would be, both genders. Because it created human life without anyone else being involved. It had to be both genders. God would have been asexual or hermaphrodite, basically. Well, they don't like to hear that either, do they? But it's true. So we get a lot wrong. And I'd love to see your comments down below about things that we accept as right that are wrong. Everyone just accepts people say in Los Angeles. That everyone just accepts it. Los Angeles. It's not Los Angeles. It's Los. Everyone accepts people saying other words wrong. San Rafael. Just other words. Lots of other words. They say them wrong, and everyone thinks it's okay. It's not okay. Everyone accepts that Jesus is white. He's not. He wouldn't have been. He never was. And that's the danger of modern-day society. Lies get repeated so quickly and so much that we accept them as fact.
If you're not visiting reallycorrell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
Well, we are back at the Corel Show. So very glad you are joining me. You are here. We are joined at the hip. Let's see what's going on here. I need to pull up this story, and it's not pulling up properly, and I don't know why. Something is just wrong. Things are always going wrong these days. I don't know why, but they are. Save all. Come on, open. God, I hate when technology fails you. I really do. All right. So there is a war being fought already, and most of you are not aware of it, and I'm going to tell you about it, okay? So I tell you a lot about it, but we're going to make a topic out of it today. Water in the Colorado River is dwindling to levels that haven't been seen in decades. Decades, children. And the 7 states, 7, that rely on the river can't agree on a fair way to divide up what's left. Negotiations are going nowhere, despite more than 6 months of ongoing talks, plus cajoling by the Trump administration, which twice gathered governors in hopes of a breakthrough that never came. States are already sniping at aspects of water use plans from the Federal Bureau of Reclamation, which is set to unveil this summer and impose later this year. And they're threatening to sue each other over water deliveries, raising the prospects of prolonged legal battles, just as Western states face demand to sharply reduce water use. The river's system of reservoirs and canals was designed for the climate and population a century ago. It has strained to adapt to a declining water supply and enormous growth in communities in the river basin, despite improvements in efficiency that mean even booming cities are using less water than in the past. Water rights that may date back to the arrival of European settlers also complicate the matters. And a year of extreme drought is making it even harder to decide how much each state can draw from the Colorado. Now, it's not from a lack of effort. We have invested time, effort, and money in trying to facilitate a multi-state agreement, says Scott Cameron, the acting commissioner of the Bureau of Reclamation. In an interview this month, he said, moments after signaling a deal that could one day augment the basin's supply using desalinated water from a plant in Carlsbad, California, which we desperately need. But a day later, Mr. Cameron told a conference of water experts in Boulder that states have repeatedly rejected proposals for compromise. He said he doesn't expect any state to be pleased with the measures the federal government is expected to take to delay or prevent reservoirs from dropping to critical lows in the short term. Lake Mead already is. It's at 30%, children. I think we've succeeded in making everyone unhappy and maybe making everyone mad. About 40 million people and 5.5 million acres of cropland depend on the Colorado for drinking water and irrigation. But its flow has gradually diminished over the past 2 decades as the climate becomes warmer and more arid across the West. Now the arcane system of water rights governing the river entitles each state and Mexico to far more water than is actually available. The rules prioritize the longest established uses of water, dating back to the 1850s and the 1860s. But the states have been unable to agree upon water cuts that would reflect this new reality. In the river's lower basin, which includes urban areas in California, Arizona, and Nevada, vast agricultural operations, and the nation's largest reservoir, Lake Mead, which I live right next to, the nation's largest reservoir, communities have agreed to significant reductions in recent years. A new proposal that the states are asking the federal government to consider would curtail even more, but the lower basin states and tribal nations have asked upstream communities in New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming to cut back too. But anytime winter snowpack in the river's headwaters is meager, the upper basin is forced to use less water, so those states have resisted committing to permanent annual water cuts. While in 1922, a 104-year-old compact divides the United States' share of the river's flow equally between the two basins, the less populated upper basin consumes less water each year than the lower basin. The stalemate between the basins has deepened as the stakes rise. An existing water use plan expired this winter, and the states missed key deadlines to agree on a new one, which must be in place by October to avoid chaos and confusion in water delivery. A mild winter and extreme spring heat left winter snowpack so depleted that Lake Powell, the nation's second largest reservoir, which straddles the upper and lower basins, risked falling below critical levels for hydropower until federal officials began emergency actions to shift water around and keep the dam generating electricity. So far, Trump officials have resisted imposing any plan, though Mr. Cameron said the Bureau had not been passive. It has offered $450 million for water conservation projects across the basin, using money left over from the Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed under President Biden and included $4 billion for drought response in the West. Mr. Cameron said less than $100 million is left to help pay for more water savings. We have floated 3 times, pun intended, solutions that we thought represented something that the 7 states could agree upon. Turns out they can't. With the states unable to agree, the federal government is set to put new guidelines in place. The new Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, who I think ran a convenience store before, whose department includes the Reclamation Bureau, to release a plan in July to govern the use of the river for the next decade. Before that plan becomes final, it would need approval from the White House. A draft plan released in January included a range of options, some of which would make significant cuts across the lower basin, where the federal government's control of the reservoirs gives it more powers to cut off flows. The alternatives would force water shortages, mostly in the lower basin, based upon reservoir conditions. This includes various levels of cutbacks that would leave some risk of unplanned emergency water shortages in the lower basin. Arizona is especially vulnerable because of its heavy reliance on the reservoirs and its relatively junior water rights. The federal plan would include room for tweaks and negotiations every 2 years, but state officials from across the region said that could make things worse. The biggest problem is that reopening the whole plan every 2 years would undermine any certainty over water supplies. As the talks continue to stall, the threat of litigation is looming bigger and bigger, even though negotiators have said they are hoping to avoid court battles that would undoubtedly be lengthy, costly, and unpredictable. Senator Mike Lee of Utah warned Wednesday on Capitol Hill that he would seek to block federal drought relief funds from any state that sue over the Colorado River water. In Arizona and Colorado, state officials have been readying lawyers and setting aside public funds for a legal battle over the water. Early this year, television ads paid for by a coalition of Arizona water users warned that the state is being targeted for crippling cuts. In public comments submitted in response, the states have hinted at contradictory legal interpretations of this 1922 compact, offer dueling arguments that both suggest that the Trump administration was at risk of violating the document. Arizona officials said the federal plan would improperly prioritize maintaining Lake Powell at the expense of downstream releases, including Lake Mead. Focusing on legal arguments could keep the states from reaching a compromise. Because the 1922 agreement is only 1,700 words long, Mr. Ensenmenger of Nevada suggested that the states might never agree on what exactly of them what they're entitled to, And that was all the more reason for them to find common ground. The only way we're ever going to have any certainty is the Supreme Court. That way, you avoid everything else. Drought has raised the alarm across the Colorado Basin River many times over the last quarter century, but the current drought is arriving at a critical time for states to adapt. Major water shortages are arriving at the same time as the long-awaited deadline to develop a new river management plan. At a recent conference of Colorado River officials, people were struck about the difficult task that remains, even though everyone who relies on the river agrees that someone needs to take some action and that people are going to have to do with less water. There is even talk of rationing in the lower basin states, including Nevada, Arizona, California, and Utah. Well, there you have it. They've mentioned the words rationing. Yep. Look, I live here, okay? I live in Nevada, and I'm telling you right now, it is far worse than you guys think. In the Bay Area, wherever, it is far worse than you think. There is no fucking water. And Las Vegas just keeps building. You know, a moratorium, I believe it was in Switzerland. They were going to cap their population at 10 million. They just went to the polls to vote about it. Now it failed, but they wanted to cap their population at 10 million. At 10 million, no one else could come. No immigrants, nothing. We're done. We're full. I have maintained for the longest time Las Vegas is full. There's too many people here. There's not enough water, not enough space. There's too much concrete. Every time you build something, you put more concrete down. You're just increasing the temperature. You're causing rapid climate change, and there's no fucking water. If I were the governor of the state of Nevada, I would put a population limit on the Las Vegas Valley. I would. I know it would be unpopular, but it doesn't matter. There's no water. And we are going to start rationing. You wait, and because there's no water, we're going to run out. Everyone says the strip, the strip. The strip only uses 3% of Las Vegas's water. That's it, 3%. They are so good at recycling over there. The Bellagio, the fountains, that water doesn't even come from Lake Mead. The water in the Bellagio fountains come from their own spring. They have their own spring for that water. So it does not come from Lake Mead or the Colorado River. So the casinos and the Strip have done a stellar job. Las Vegas itself takes very little water from Lake Mead. And yet this morning, I was at Desert Breeze Park at 7 a.m., and every sprinkler in the park was on. Sprinklers are the worst form of irrigation. They waste more water than they give to the plants. Why we still use them on public land is beyond me. There are better ways to water the grass. More water efficient. A drip irrigation system should be installed in every public park that has grass. This sprinkler the water evaporates half the time before it even hits it was 92 degrees on our walk this morning. It is 101 outside already right now. So the water just evaporates. But there's no solutions. Their solution is cut back. That is not an answer to our water problem. Cutting back is not going to bring water to the west. The Colorado is drying up. It is going to dry up. Either we find a way to flood the Colorado River with water from the East Coast, with rainwater that we correct. There's going to be flooding all week long across the country. Flooding. Billions of gallons of water coming down, and we don't save it. We don't collect it. We just let it run off and cause mudslides. In California, there's going to be record rain because of a super El Nino. Where's all that water going to go? Right back into the ocean. It's not going to be collected. There's no reservoirs to collect the rainwater. We have not built for the climate. Why? Because we've been so busy dicking around with where a trans person pees, whether or not a gay person can get married, what rights an immigrant may or may not have, who gets health care and who doesn't. We have been so preoccupied with God, guns, and gays that the real issues of the day, like fucking water that we cannot live without, have been ignored. And now their answer, use less. No. No, I'm not going to use less fucking water. That's on you. That's like yesterday, my thermostat, my Nest. It set the temperature to 81. And it said, oh, it's rush hour. And that's 7 to 8 when a lot of electricity is being used. And it said, too much electricity is being used right now. We've cut your air conditioner back to 81. I turned it promptly back down to 76 and said, fuck you. We get more energy from the sun every day than we need for 5,000 years. If you can't find a way to capture that and get it to me, that's on you. But I'm not going to be in 81 degree heat in my house.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
This morning, I had to do one of my least favorite jobs. So I have this great device called a Hemi, Geme, okay, a Hemi. And it's a composter the size of a trash can, okay? It's great. It's out on my patio, and you just throw the scraps in it, and it turns them into dirt. It's just a wonderful device. And that keeps food scraps out of the trash because they don't decompose quickly in a landfill because they're in plastic and everything else. And then they cause way too much methane gas, and it's a problem. No one should be throwing food waste away. Period. End of story. There should be separate trash cans like there are in some city for compostable trash. Okay? No one should just be putting food in the regular trash. And today, so I have found if you just throw the food in, the banana peels, the orange peels, and all of that, that they're big and it takes a long time for it to break down. But if you grind it up first in your food processor, then it turns into mash already, and you put that in and it composts quickly. But it's a very messy and horrible job, and I hate it. Because I store up a jar full of composting stuff, strawberry stuff, the tops of strawberries, and any leftover food, my tea, the tea that I have every day, all of that. Just anything organic. Things that go bad in the refrigerator. Ember's poop. That goes in the composter as well. So I have this big jar that might, or plastic tub that my 2 pounds of protein powder, which we're running out of, by the way, you non-vegans, they're running out of whey protein powder because of all your craze about protein. But anyway, so I have that. And so every couple of days it fills up. And so I dump that into the food processor and turn it on. Well, it often gets stuck because of watermelon rind or cantaloupe rind or whatever. And I have to dig in there. Oh, it's just a mess. And today I said to myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm not going to save the planet by doing this. Corporations are the ones that are robbing and raping the planet with impunity. Nestle is buying up all of the water. So why do I care if I take a 5-minute fucking shower? Pretty soon, none of us are going to be able to afford water because it's going to be owned by corporations because we are stupidly sitting by and letting people privatize water. That is the dumbest, and it's the most short-sighted. And if I were president, I would exercise eminent domain over every bit of water and tell every corporation they don't own it. If I were president, I would sign an executive order that America owns every bit of water in America. The U.S. government owns it, not any corporation. But I'm not president. And, I just think to myself, take a short shower. Why? They've had 70 years to fix the water problem in the West, and they have ignored it. And now their answer is, for me to take a 3-minute shower? Fuck you. I'm only on planet Earth one time. This is it. That's all I got. This is my time on the planet. And you want to tell me that I need to deprive myself of electricity, deprive myself of air conditioning, deprive myself of a long shower. Why? Because you didn't prepare for the needs of the people? Electricity being scarce or expensive is a failure of government. There is more power from the sun every day that washes over planet Earth than we could use in 5,000 years. If we just captured the energy from one day of sunlight, we would all have as much power as we want for the rest of our lives. The same with water. There is more water on the planet than we need. It's just in the wrong place. We need to redistribute it, but we won't. We'll build pipelines for oil, but not for water. The ocean is rising. We know this. Well, we could use some of that water, couldn't we? Well, desalination is expensive. It's this, it's that. I don't fucking care. We can't live without water. That we should spend more money on water than anything else other than air and food, which they're all related. You got to have water and air for food. It's all related. That should be what we spend money on. That's it. Water, air, food, housing. That's it. Power, internet. That's what the federal government should spend money on. Getting everybody internet, getting everybody electricity, getting everybody drinkable water, and making sure there's a supply of water for the people. That's all government should really care about. Stay the fuck out of abortion, same-sex marriage, trans people and where they pee, and make sure that when I go into the bathroom, I don't worry about a trans person, and I worry, about the water. But no. So yeah. So when it comes to conservation, I'm a bit of a curmudgeon now. I used to conserve everything. I mean, I wash all of my plastic bags, my Ziploc bags. I don't throw them away. I wash them and use them until they're just done. I have a composter on my patio, and I grind up left. Do you know how horrible it smells after food has been in a container for 4 days, and you throw it into a processor, and there's liquid in there that God knows what it is, and you spin it about, and then you got to scoop it into your... And I thought, why am I doing this? No one else does it. No one else cares about the environment. Everyone's like, fuck the environment. I just can't. I don't like organic waste in my trash. It stinks, and I don't like it. The same with my shower. I take short showers anyway. Steve Cabral says I take hooker showers. I'm literally done in about 3 minutes. I take about 3 minutes in the shower, maybe 4. Not even one song. I never even can finish one song in the shower. I take quick showers, always have. So I'm not really, and I don't take baths. I think baths are ridiculous. I don't understand baths. Let's sit in my own dirt. I'll jacuzzi if it's a private jacuzzi. I don't use public jacuzzis because the foam on top, that's their dead skin and body fluids that are turned into, it's protein. I have saltwater aquariums, and you have a protein skimmer in your saltwater aquarium where the water comes in and it's hit with a whole bunch of air, and then the protein foams up and goes into the top. Well, that's what's happening in a jacuzzi. The water's moving about and splashing and aerating, and the protein in the water creates foam. That's what a foam is. If you ever see a foamy jacuzzi, that's dead skin and body fluid. That's what it is. It's protein, which is why I don't go in. All right, we'll be back tomorrow for our Wednesday show. I am Carell. Be who you want to be. So on the turn, everybody, thank you, all of you patrons at patreon.com/Really Carell. Please become one. And why not join the live every day at youtube.com/Really Carell. Thanks to everyone on Apple, Spotify, on SoundCloud, wherever you're listening.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service.